Well, South Africans have been promised smart cities for decades now, but are our cities smart or not even working at all? City dwellers have to face blackouts, water shortages, traffic shortages, and of course rubbish on the streets, not to mention high crime rates in the CBDs. Our reporters are on the ground speaking to people of the city. Heidi Giokos is in Johannesburg and our other reporter, Ronald Masinda, is in East London. But let's go to Heidi first. Heidi, what are people saying about the state of our city?
Well, you and I, Baron, we stay here in the city of Johannesburg, and I think we can both speak about the many problems that the city faces with constant rolling blackouts. Yes, the country is subjected to this, but in the city it seems as though it's a little bit more exacerbated because the power isn't often restored. Crime levels are really high. Johannesburg is dubbed as one of the most dangerous cities. And let's not even speak about the ailing infrastructure, especially when it comes to roads. But we are joined by JC Voters, who is here from Sharon Lee. Thank you so much for your time. JC, maybe just tell us about the issue here. It might not look as severe from an eye level, but it is quite deep and it is quite problematic. Cars having to navigate through these very difficult roads. Maybe just tell us what the problem is.
Yeah, so as you've indicated, it doesn't look as bad as it was about a year and a half ago due to residents filling up the road and trying to patch up where they can with some sand and whatnot. But this is about a year and a half to 2 years in the making due to groundwater that has spilled over into the road, and due to the road's angle being incorrect, it's not able to channel down towards the storm drain. And it's resulted in damage to the road, and cars driving past you need to drive very carefully, very slowly. And we've had JRA come out here. They've told us that the water needs to be cleared. They called out Johannesburg Water, who tested the water to see if it was sewage, which it isn't, and there's no burst pipe here, so this is just natural groundwater. It's a very simple fix, and as far as I understand, just to install some sort of drainage system, get the road dry, and then come out and repair it. And this is one of two problems that we've got. We've got another problem further down. So yeah, that's the current state of it. It's just we're waiting and nothing's being done about it.
And as a community, you obviously want to take it upon yourselves to try and fix this, but legally that's not really possible. So what do you do in the interim? You just wait for JRA to decide to come and fix it?
Correct. It would actually be a very simple fix for the residents to do. And I think with the problems that it's causing, people would be eager to have it fixed. But if we were to just do that and there was some sort of injury or somebody, an accident involving any of the work that was done, we would be held legally liable. So for that reason, we can't. That's it. We've escalated. We've reported to JRA. They've come out numerous times. We've sent them footage of it over the last year and a half that it's been like this. It's a very simple fix. It just needs to be taken care of.
I want us to move over to the broader focus on ENCA today. It's about whether or not the city actually works for you as a resident. And the big issue also is in terms of crime in the area. I've noticed, obviously, there are a lot of private security vehicles, there are cameras. Why was this taken upon the residents to install these cameras and to have this private security? Do you feel as though the current policing just are under-resourced and cannot handle the crime in the city?
So to answer the first question, in terms of the city and what it's doing, I feel if it's a standard issue that would happen, like potholes or whatnot, they tend to get fixed relatively quickly. Power issues, I think the city's got a lot of experience in resolving them, although there can be some problems with transformers, as we all know, with load shedding not affecting that. But for matters like this, where it's a fairly unique situation, but still, in my opinion, an easy situation to fix, it seems to nobody knows how to resolve it. With regards to the cameras, we do actually have, as you've pointed out, dedicated vehicles in Sharon Lee. We've got SP security as well as TRSS that secure the area. We've got MS monitoring who monitors our cameras. We've got over 90-something cameras in the area that monitor 24/7. And that was brought, it's more than a decade ago, brought into Sharon Lee as initiative to resolve the crime situation. And since then, Sharon Lee has been voted one of the safest suburbs in Joburg, and we're quite proud of that achievement. we don't experience crime like other suburbs. You know, you still get your petty crime, you still get some issues, but it's certainly not a dangerous environment like you would find in neighbouring suburbs, just a stone's throw away.
So obviously Sharon-Lee is not an isolated suburb. You obviously have to engage with other suburbs, go and do your shopping or whatever it might be, need other service delivery. Just in a nutshell, do you think the city works? Do you think it's a functioning city? Would you go as far as saying it's a smart city, as our president once said?
So I would say there are parts of it that are, but there are parts that are failing dismally. Again, point to the easy things that the cities had experience with, they seem to sort that out, but anything above that, it's not.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate it. That is, of course, JC Voters, who is here from Sharon-Lee. And my colleague Tammy is currently just showing you the area that's obviously problematic. I think the sad reality is that we've all just become accustomed to this, and when we see a pothole, we're like, oh, let's just find another way to navigate through this, which doesn't necessarily make it right or acceptable. And we do know that the MEC for Transport has been on a drive previously to fill up these potholes, but it obviously seems as though that is not happening quick enough, fast enough, and to resolve all the problems, Baron.
Heidi, you know, like you said, we live in a city with so many issues, Johannesburg that is, and this is just one of the many issues that this city faces. And it's so interesting what that gentleman just said is that, you know, some parts of the city is smart, or you can call it a smart city, but of course you and I know both that most parts of this city it's not the case there. How do we, you know, make this a more issue that can be addressed to our local government? I mean, people want to take, you know, issues into their own hands and fix their own problems, but of course sometimes that's not allowed or it's frowned upon.
Yes, exactly. And I think at the end of the day, it's about holding those in power accountable. Local government at the moment is an absolute mess. And we do know that recently the Auditor General has highlighted the fact that majority, if not most, of our municipalities are dysfunctional and have not received a clean audit, which speaks to the local issues that we are constantly facing. We do know, for example, in the North Riding area, when there is load shedding, the power doesn't come back on. There's, of course, issues of crime. So it all comes down to holding those in the city accountable. And I just want to highlight the fact that we have reached out to the MMC for Roads and Transport and the MEC for Transport in the province and, of course, in the city of Johannesburg to no avail. So they, of course, need to be asked these questions as to what exactly they are doing to sort this out. The problems are many, but at the end of the day, we know what they are. It's about finding solutions to these many problems, and it all lies in local government at this point.
Thank you so much, Heidi. Let's go to our reporter, Ronald Masinda, now. He is in East London. Ronald, one of the cities, of course, you know, battling when it comes to service delivery issues, as we all know. But what are people on the ground saying there in East London?
Okay, so we've made our way to Mdantsane this hour, and this is an area where a lot of people have been complaining about the high billing system. It is a problem that the current mayor, Princess Fako, has sort of tried to address, saying that within 100 days in office it will be top priority. But I can tell you, when I was trying to reach out to people who are faced with this problem, I've been inundated with messages, people saying that they've been forced to pay tens and thousands of rands and they don't understand why they've been billed so high. But I am joined by Umama Utorin Ramata. She is a person who's retired, having been a teacher and retired in 2004. Mama, thank you so much for your time. How bad is your situation?
It's very bad. I'm suffering, I'm struggling, paying huge bills with BCM. So I don't know what to do now, because each and every year there is a new thing. Like this year, my electricity was disconnected because they say I owe the attorneys, of which I don't know why, because I've never dealt with attorneys. When I found that my account was huge, I went to the rent office. And at the rent office, they said they are going to write everything down. A month later, I received an SMS from the attorneys saying that I must pay them. My account was handed over. I again went to the rent office. They said, no, don't worry, because your account is in process. Every month my account was blocked, and I have to pay the reconnection fee. Every month I was paying the whole of 2021 and 2022. And in 2022, I showed them my meter number, because they were reading with another meter number. Then in June 2022, they started with the number which is in my meter box. To my surprise is that when they first read, I saw a statement saying previous rating, and then the account went up to 4,000 water only.
Mama, let me come in there. You were showing us earlier, just on some of your bills, I saw a figure of over 100,000 rand. What is the municipality saying to you in terms of trying to rectify this problem? Are they saying that you are fully liable for this amount? Is it a mistake on their side?
I don't think they see this as I see, because once I don't pay, my account is blocked.
How has this affected you and your household? You're retired, and I'm sure it's very difficult to try and pay this amount.
As I said, the account was going up every month. When it came to 146,000, I collapsed. And then my son does the daily dispatch. It is then that they came on the 2nd of February this year. And another gentleman there, when I was telling them all my experience, made an apology and told me that they made a mistake. They were charging me huge on water. So I told them that my account must not be sent to the lawyers again, and those lawyers must stop sending me SMSs, and they must stop blocking my electricity. But at the month end, during the month end, they blocked it again. So I had to pay another recognition fee. So all in all, I'm paying all the money I get for my pension. I'm paying Buffalo City.
What is then the message to the current mayor, Princess Faku, who has promised to rectify the problems that many people face with here, and you're not alone? Trust me on that one.
Nobody ever contacted me about that. I don't know. It's just a rumor. It's just a rumor, because nobody cares about me. Even last month, beginning of this month, I had to pay 3,000 because my electricity was disconnected. So I'm feeling the pinch. Then, during this process, I was diagnosed pressure, which was not my disease. But now I'm a pressure chronic. I'm a pressure chronic now.
Very quickly, what message you want to send to the mayor?
Mayor, please rectify this mistake, because this mistake was done by BCM. The meter number which they are using is 160, 203, 303, and mine is 160, 203, 217.
All right, Mamutorin, Masibambapo, thank you so much for your time. Well, that is one of quite a number of people that has approached us with similar problems. People saying that they now have to pay money, exorbitant amounts of money, which they cannot afford to the municipality. They say that they've been very responsible in the way they've used water, but they don't understand why the municipality keeps billing them so high. So we will be trying to speak to other people to find out how this city works for them. It's back to you in studio.
Also, you know, Ronald, we know there are various issues, of course, also in that particular cities, London or Buffalo City Metropolitan. But I know that you've done a few stories where criminal activity, where communities are also, what I asked Heidi, trying to take matters into their own hands, trying to battle certain situations in their own communities. And I know that you've done a few stories where people are trying to battle crime, take it into their own hands to fight crime in their communities. Is that still a major problem in the Buffalo City and also other areas around?
Especially here in Tanzania, Byron, where we have met the crime prevention team of the Special Task Force, that's what they call themselves. And they say that since they've been given the support by the community, crime has been drastically reduced. They say that they don't find any comfort in the police to address criminal activities in their communities. So they've been receiving a lot of support from the communities in fighting crime. But there's still a lot of hard work that lies ahead. They say that they cannot take necessarily measures into their own or take their own sort of actions against the criminals, and that those who they apprehend on the streets, people found with such things as guns, as we've seen, knives, as well as drugs on the streets, they are taken to the police. But the concern really is the same alleged perpetrators are out the next day. So this community is certainly saying that in as much as they've seen quite a lot done by this community forum, it is also the responsibility of authorities to fighting crime and to deal with a number of challenges that are still faced with here in these communities.
Thank you so much, Ronald Masinda and Heidi Giokos. Just giving us an update there on the state of our cities. Ronald, of course, in the Eastern Cape, and then Heidi here in Gauteng, Johannesburg. It is, of course, still very frustrating to know that our cities are not so smart after all, or maybe, most parts of our cities are not so smart as what they should be, and various issues plaguing our different cities in the country, and of course, service delivery being one of those.